Obviously, they're linked. Arsenal are now linked to Eze, and there's talk about that advancing, especially if they can't convince or don't want to wait. I suppose is more the question for the situation with Rodrigo. Now, he isn't your out and out touchline winger. There's a thought that if he plays on the left, it will drift more into those central areas. How good a signing, Staffy, would Eze be for Arsenal if they're able to pull this off?
Yeah, it would be a good signing. I think they need a little bit of creativity down the left. If you're not going to have a main creator in the midfield, because I don't think they have that, as much as I like Odegaard, I don't think that's his best strength. And I think that was the main struggle they had with him last season. I was seeing comparisons with Bruno, and to me, they couldn't be any more different than they are as players, because one likes to keep the ball tidy. He's probably a better dribbler, a better ball carrier. He likes to keep it neat and move it around. Bruno, listen, we all know who Bruno is. Bruno, if he has a 10% chance to take a risk, he'll always take it. Two different players. For you to take that off Odegaard is that you actually give him a risk taker in this team. Is he the best in his position? Probably not, but is he an upgrade on one they have? Of course he is. He's a good dribbler. He likes to take on his man. He likes to shoot. He doesn't have the best conversion rate. I think he ended the season very well. I forgot what the stat was. He had, like, in the last 2 months of football, I believe, he had the same amount as GA that he had on the whole season. So it just shows you that he ended.
Pause a second. Go back to that last super chat. See, people just be saying things. You do realize XG is for finishing, bro, not for chances created. You had a higher XG than us. I just said that. Your conversion rate
is not a creative stat. You can take a shot from the halfway line, and it's an XG.
Exactly. You definitely didn't have an expected assist.
Well, according to the Premier League last season, big chances created. Chelsea 93, Arsenal 91.
Okay,
so the same amount of the same. Yeah, I mean the same amount of big chances. Basically, Chelsea created 2 more big chances than Arsenal last year.
Go check the total chances that were created, bro, and how many chances we missed in comparison to them.
To be fair, it's not a big chance created if you don't register a shot. So that stat can be a little bit flawed.
But that's also. But I think that's the lot of point people make. Last season, I watched this maybe 10 times. Arsenal get the ball into the right place, they pull it across the 6-yard box, and the criticism was if they had a predatory striker making the right runs, there's a tap in there. But you're right, that doesn't show as a big chance or a chance created. So that's why I think the stats show some part, and then it's watching those games and everything else. I totally concur. Everyone could do with always improving their creativity. Like, why would you not want to improve that? That's true. This here says, why does Zubimendi being good mean Partey is bad?
It's because he said he's clear of him. Terry, what do you say clear means? Because I've heard you explain this on this channel a few times. What does better mean, and what does clear mean?
Better can mean marginal. You got to explain it. When someone says clear, I think it utterly implies they are light years, clear blue water, much more. Like, for instance, Haaland is clear of Haaland. That is a clear statement for me as an example. Yoro is clear of Levi Colwell. 100% statement. Do you know what I'm saying? Roy Keane. Clear of Gerrard. I'm joking now, right? That's a joke. It's a little humor there.
You're joking now. You're joking now. You better take back the last statement.
We know he means that.
Yeah.
Staffy, in terms of height, is clear of me and Don. Like, those things are that's probably true, to be fair. So those things are true. Yeah, no, I agree. Nobody said Partey was crap. That is true. Listen, I do think Zubimendi is an excellent signing. Don doesn't seem to understand that it's impossible to have a better midfield than a team who finish higher than you.
This is where you've done yourself, because you're the better defense. You're the better defense than Liverpool's, but they won the league.
Did he say it's impossible to have a better midfield than a team that finished higher? Is that a real statement?
That's that. I've just debunked it quickly.
Mad.
That's what they do. I had one guy talking about XG when we're talking about creativity. You got another guy here talking some other nonsense, bro. Big yourself up, though, man.
Habibi, I said he was a clear upgrade. That's very true. A clear upgrade is in you can see it's an upgrade. Yeah, I suppose it depends.
I'd like VAR to go and check his super chat again, because I can swear he said he's clear of Partey.
I think he said clear upgrade, but I think people might interpret that, D, as you're saying it's an upgrade, a massive upgrade that's clear of Partey. People might misinterpret that. I think
I don't see there's much different, though, because if someone's a clear upgrade on a player, well, they're clear of the player, then, aren't they? Because it's a clear upgrade. It's not a
Yeah,
marginal
yeah.
upgrade.
I
It's not
get that.
slightly better. It's the same thing.
Patrick here says the biggest issue is this. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be frustrated this squad fillers being brought before essential needs. It feels like a bad strategy. If the house is flooding, I don't fix the oven first. But are they flooding? Is it like a genuine question? Do people think Arsenal are like flooding? Like if they don't get the water turned off soon, the house is ruined forever. Like if they don't get Šeško in tomorrow or Gyökeres, that's it. Their season's over. Like that. If we're going to give the analogy, it's got a suit. Like, do people think Arsenal are in that dire straight?
Well, I know. I'd rather get because there was a comment earlier saying about how Liverpool and the others are getting their mains and they're just doing it the other way around. I'd rather be in Liverpool's position where I'm getting in my top priority signings in early and then getting the squad fillers later. So I think
fans definitely prefer it that way. Fans definitely prefer that dopamine hit now rather than later. I get that.
Yeah, but I think you even said yourself. I mean, obviously, it's going to do if they go and sign Šeško. If it's Šeško next week, then it's a moot point. But if they're waiting until like we get to August and that, like, and we can say, oh, well, as long as they sign him, it don't matter when. If you're getting them in for pre-season and all of that and training, I think there's an advantage there.
Yeah.
Well, it's not to mention like the clubs that we just mentioned. Like I keep saying this, Wirtz now starts for this team. What does that happen? What happens to Szoboszlai from here? Szoboszlai now becomes a squad player. Szoboszlai on a contending team as a squad player, that's better than what a lot of teams have because Szoboszlai starts for the majority of the league. Same that happens at City. You bring in Reinders, the best midfielder in Syria. What does he do? Now he sends Kovacic to the bench. Not to mention that they added Shirky. So you got Shirky and Foden that could be rotating in the 10 or that right wing, whatever it is. You make your starters from last season now become bench options. I'd rather have Kovacic as a bench option. I'd rather have Szoboszlai as a bench option than having Norgard as a bench option in my team. That's when you say clear. Like right now, the bench both these teams are building by just upgrading the starting 11 and demoting some of the starters to the bench. Now it makes their bench clear of what Arsenal are going to have. So I think it's very justified to say that signing your main priorities and demoting these guys to benches is better than just replacing a bench player with a bench player. Who cares about the 700 minutes Jorginho was playing? It doesn't matter. Just get someone to compete for the starting 11, someone who could compete with Rice, compete with Odegaard, compete with Zubamendi, and whoever battles out and wins starts. The other one, you be on the bench. That's fine. You have a competitive rotation of 4 midfielders rather than just 3 and clear backups.
Oh, we're going to get back to these super chats in a minute. I was wanting to get back to the Eze chat for a moment. Lawless, what's your take on Eze? Because we know that Spurs are looking at him. They've done a lot of due diligence. Arsenal still want this Rodrigo deal, but they're not sure whether it will happen. Eze, how much of a needle mover do you think he'd be for Arsenal?
Yeah, do you know what? If they're playing him on the left, which we think that they probably will, with the way Martinelli's been playing, yeah, I think it will be a needle mover. I think he's still young, exciting player. Obviously, someone we missed out on, and I'm still kicking myself over that. When I'm getting Ben Rama. So yeah, I think it would be an exciting signing from an Arsenal perspective. I think it's going to be a difficult deal to get done for sure. And yeah, it could be a long way off. But I think when it comes to Spurs had a bit of a head start on it, but I think Arsenal will probably be able to get that signing in over Spurs. So it's just a difficult one because right now, obviously, their priority is Rodrigo. So they're losing time on Eze. So they're gonna have to make their mind up sooner rather than later and decide to either decide to abandon Rodrigo and just go all in on Eze, or just keep your focus on Rodrigo and risk losing Eze. But like I said, I spoke to Palace mate D, who's very, very confident that Palace will be Eze will be a Palace player next season. So I'm interested to see how it unfolds, but he is destined, I think, for slightly bigger things, Eze. So yeah, I'll be watching this with huge interest to see where he goes. It seemed to me, and I haven't looked at the numbers. My only little question mark over Eze is injuries. There was a period where he missed quite a few games. So yeah, I would be interested to see if how that is going forward for him. Like if that's something you can put behind. That would be the only question mark. But yeah, I highly rate Eze.
Arsenal fan here, not panicking. I think we're waiting for July for the new financial year.
So why didn't Liverpool and City wait for the new financial year?
So I'm not going to say it because I'll get called defending Arsenal. I'm just going to say something Tom Little said about that. To be fair,
you're already beyond that, brother. Just say it anyways. There's no coming back for you.
Yeah, but it's just hard because people just.
Bro, you're balls deep when it comes to defending Arsenal. Trust me. No one's changing their mind here, anyways.
at least I pulled. So this City wanted their players in for the Club World Cup. So that's a simple answer.
That's a fair point.
But according to Tom Little, so I didn't even know. I knew about Wirtz. I didn't know this about Kirkes. Two of their signings their three signings that have been done early, were because other teams that had a genuine chance of landing them wanted those players to the Club World Cup. So they had to go early. They couldn't wait.
If that's the point. That's the point.
So that's me only repeating what Tom Little said, and I think that's why. And he's a diehard Liverpool fan, and I didn't know that about it was Kirkes and Wirtz, obviously. So that's why I do think an element of calm needs to.
Why didn't they wait then for Zubimendi, Norgard, Kepa? Why didn't they wait for these? If they're waiting for the new financial year, how comes they're still making signings?
Well, I listen. I'm not the one who said that in its entirety. I think there's an element that, like Man United, I know for a fact, don't want to start registering any sales until the new financial year.
I was about to say that because I know United for a fact want to wait for July, the new fiscal year, where they can register some of these sales. Because now for the next year, let's say we sell Garnacho, your PSR just goes up like this. Rashford, your PSR goes up like this. So you're set for the new year. So I agree with you.
So there's an element of that. And the problem with it is that there's so many things that go into this. The problem is you're not allowed to suggest them because the only thing that's acceptable is to say horrible things about Man United or Arsenal. And there's also another train of thought that goes for a lot of clubs' minds. And if they can help it, they'll do this. Liverpool are famed for this. Well, why sign a player at the end of May when I could sign him in the middle of July and you save a couple of £1 million in salary that you don't need to pay a player between that period, especially if they're going from 30 grand a week at Brentford to 150 grand or 200 grand at your club. There's all these little things that play into it. Plus, what has slowed Arsenal down with the striker situation? I don't blame Arsenal for it. Both clubs have whacked the price up of players and they're not stuck to what their initial valuation or the gentleman's agreements were. The fact that Arsenal won the race for both Šeško and Gyökeres want them right now because no one else is chasing after them. Pre-season hasn't begun. There's no need for them to go, right, we'll pay the 20 million extra you're asking for when the player's just going to be sitting on the beach. So I do think, again, and in 4 weeks, if they're still not done it, they'll go, see, that was wrong. But yeah, it's wrong now, but it wasn't wrong at the time. At the end of the day, Arsenal would be fucking stupid to pay 20 plus million pound more for a player when they don't need to. And I stand on that. The only reason they could give, logically, to just do it now would be it makes our fans happier. Why waste 20 million pounds for fans to get a dopamine hit? I don't see the point personally. So I think there's multiple reasons. I also think that because I think if Sporting or Leipzig would have gone, yeah, there you go, we'll give you your price. I think they would have done that deal in this financial year, and they still may with a few days to go. But I think there's multiple things at play. Personally, I do believe we need a number 10 like Eze. Odegaard is more of a number 8 rather than a 10. Adding Šeško or Gyökeres and Eze to the team could take us to the next level, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't say nothing negative about Arsenal, but a lot of shit last night for saying that I think if they sign Eze, I think over the course of the season, I think he'll displace him in that attacking midfield role. Whether that means Odegaard gets benched or moved into a different role doesn't matter to me, but I think Eze is good enough to kick him out. But yeah, I don't say nothing negative. I mean, I don't call that a negative. I think a player improving your team is a positive, but it got twisted into a negative. No one was complaining about our creativity when we scored 91 goals with the same midfield. It's a lot of seasons. So it's a lot of seasons with problems. That was also echoed in this here that says, where's it gone? I can't find it now.
Was that the super set piece FC season?
No, that was season before.
Yes, this was the season when was it what? The first year they competed? Or is he not referring to the year when they
both years, I think both years they competed. Each year simultaneously they broke their goal scoring record in the Premier League. I think.
That first year they were playing some fluid football, bro. And then the second year That's when they turned it up when they got back from Dubai. If you remember, Odegaard was on smoke, bro, when he came back.